Exorcism. Okay, I said it. I said that big word that's so scary in movies and everything else. But in this video, we're going to see how exorcism is actually a spiritual tool, a healing practice, because I have on a guest, Sadhu Dah. He is a spiritual teacher and an exorcist. Now, let me tell you, he's also a magician. You're a magician. I'm a magician. The ceremonial magic, the ancient magic that we're talking about is light magic, is white magic. So stay tuned to this episode because it is so cool. Hello and welcome to the Charmed Life YouTube channel. This channel is all about magic, metaphysics, mysticism, the unconditional love of the universe, and I am your host here. My name's Tricia Carr. I'm a multidimensional medium, empathic channel. I'm a magician like you. I'm also an animal telepath and a hypnotherapist. And I have a really cool conversation on this episode with Sadhu Dah. We talk about all kinds of magical and mystical and really cool topics, experiences, and he also gives some techniques and all kinds of different things. Now, let me tell you that this is the YouTube channel, my conversation with Sadhu Dah, but there's also a podcast that is a 1 hour long where we're talking about all kinds of really awesome topics, talking about techniques as well. And so go check that out. Links are in the description. And do please like, subscribe, share, comment, and click the little bell so that you can get the notifications so you can know when I'm going to post more content like this and more. With that, enjoy this conversation I have with the amazing spiritual teacher and exorcist, Sadhu Dah. To actually talk about a situation that you've encountered where, yeah, obviously. Well, I mean, hey, that's what people are thinking, right?
Well, I've had quite a few. I guess we could talk about either a situation that had happened to me personally or one that I worked on with a client.
Whichever is most appropriate. Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's hard because it's kind of hard to tell someone else's story, but other times we have permission or, we can obscure the identity well enough. Yeah,
exactly.
So it's up to you. Yeah.
So I've had hundreds of cases.
If it's your own, and that's fine too.
I guess one of the more interesting ones that I have had was this client who, she doesn't mind me talking about her specific case, but I'll still give her the courtesy of anonymity, even though hers has been publicly put out there by her own volition. This individual had reached out to me and one of my masters, and this was like early on in some of my training, and I had reached like a proficient point where I was able to do a lot of things on my own to a certain level. And then I would sometimes need help if it was something a little more dangerous. This was something within my capability, but it was so bizarre, the level of phenomena. This lady, it turns out, was being induced with ghost sickness. So there was a multitude of spirits that were feeding on her and exasperating a neurological condition that she already had that would induce physical pain in her body. So it was just kind of compounding it and then would make it easier for them to feed. And so it was just this repetitious cycle. And we had to teach her a lot of different techniques, and we had to go out there numerous times, but we've gotten it to be pretty manageable. Some of the interesting phenomena that was witnessed when we were there was, one, we had a sneaking suspicion that there is a certain level of magical involvement on this case. Not directed at her, but the paranormal phenomena in that little area of neighborhood that she lived in was too high of a degree to just be naturally present. We ended up finding out that there was a graveyard, I'd say maybe a couple blocks down the street from her, kind of like located in this little forested area. And there was a grave that had black candle wax dripped around it and burned crow feathers. So it's like, okay, this makes more sense. Yeah. So we did a cleansing there. We did some work on that. We kind of reversed the ritual working. That ended up playing into something else that became more casework for us, where we were kind of dealing with a necromantic cult that was involved in our city. interesting stuff, fun times, led to some dangerous encounters with other mages, wild things. A whole nother story. But anyways, we took care of that, and then she was still being affected. And that's when we started to figure out, like, okay, so this lady is a natural medium and psychic. And not only did we have the element of dealing with the magical phenomena that was being induced, but also she had objects that were essentially ritual objects she didn't even realize. They became charged from like a wraith type entity. So the corrupted essence of a human, if they don't cross over and they become their pain and suffering and death. They become non-human at that point. They almost have a quote unquote demonic approach, a very malicious intent. They can't be reasoned with. They just are pure suffering energetically, just this lower vibrational entity. That happened to believe it was, I couldn't remember what family member it was, but it was one of our family members who had passed, and they had to have an estate sale. And when they went over there and went through some of the belongings, there were some things they took. This family member was, to put it lightly, a very malicious person in life. They harmed people in very degrading and horrible ways. And this was something that was kind of like known by the family, but not necessarily like publicly made aware. So in death, this person was kind of like, oh yeah, so-and-so was a good human being. And it was like, no, they actually did really disturbing things to some of the younger family members. Anyways, so the essence of like this person's soul and their energy was imbued in some of these objects, and then was brought home, where it was just compounded on top of her situation already. And we had to cleanse and strip the energy from those objects. One of the objects we actually had to destroy because it was just tainted in a sense. And then we also had to cleanse the home, and we had to empower her energies. We had to strengthen her weakened immune system, and then also her weakened spiritual immune system. And there was just all these different elements that just were not normal. There, like one of the times we came out there, she did not have a demonic, haunting, but that ended up being drawn to her at one point. And I went in this dark closet and shut the door, and there was hot breath on me, and like, the hair on my neck was standing up, and this thing was growling. You could physically hear it. And I had some audio recordings where you can hear a guttural growling, and this thing was just right there. Physically you couldn't see it, but it was undeniable that there was something in front of you, and it was something very disturbing and very scary. And I just locked myself in the closet with it. And I was like, you're going to leave, and I'm not coming out of this closet until you're gone, and you're stuck in here with me. I'm not stuck in here with you. And so I did a mantra saturation. So like, and I did that for a repetition of 108. So like a full count with my mala. And I just kind of put myself in this heightened ecstatic state of samadhi, where I was essentially kind of like not here but everywhere kind of thing, consciously, not dividing my energies, but in a sense expanding my awareness, and in doing that able to encompass the dark spots of my awareness and bring those in alignment with my higher energies. So a little bit of a complicated way of explaining that I lifted the vibrations of the home. And ejected that thing out. And thankfully, out of the numerous visits we had to this place, that thing never came back. So we were successful and able to eject the worst thing that ended up getting attention of this individual that we were helping.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Sadhu Dah as much as I did. We had a really great time together. Now, I just want you to remember that you are magic. You are magical. You create your life by magic. The only question is, what magic are you creating? Are you doing it in alignment with your higher self, with your higher energies, with your highest good, with everything that you are here to do, with your mission? And if there's no to that question, which probably for all of us, at least there's a little no, then that is an invitation for us to make room for those magical rituals, giving ourselves permission to be in our spiritual practices so that we can align with that chi, with that life force, to crystallize our aura, to draw into the life, into the materialization of our life, the magical reality of our soul. Now, remember, like, subscribe, share, comment, and click the little bell for notifications if you liked this content, and I will be bringing you more. As always, thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.